Hei, mä oon Ulla Niskanen. Me ollaan menossa kohti uutta kultaista aikaa ja meidän muistot, osaamiset ja taidot kultaiselta Atlantikselta on taas kerran nousemassa esiin. Kultainen Atlantis on se malli, jonka mukaan me rakennetaan meidän tulevaisuutta. Mehän tullaan menemään sitä paljon eteenpäin, mutta kunhan nyt ensin päästä sinne Atlantikselle asti. Ihminen, joka tietää tästä ajasta tosi paljon ja opastaa meitä eteenpäin, on Tim Whild tässä mun vieressä. So welcome Tim.
Hi Ulla.
Kerro vähän Atlantiksesta, sullahan on siitä tosi selkeitä muistoja.
Well, I had my first memories of Atlantis when I was very young and used to continuously remember or have dreams of waves coming towards me, which as a child was not much fun. So it wasn't until later, until I kind of read Diana Cooper's first book, Discover Atlantis, that I realised what those dreams were about. That was my first experience.
Ja sen jälkeenkin sulle on tullut paljon muistoja siitä, että sä muistat kuka ja mikä sä olit Atlantiksella.
Once I'd actually found out who I was and what I was doing in those times, I began to gather specific memories. So I think probably one of the first really clear memories I had was walking to the Temple of Poseidon, which is actually the meditation that we read out yesterday, and it's also available on the second CD, the Archangel Guide to Mastery CD, which is actually from my personal memories. So you'd have this big long path winding up the side of this beautiful mountain with the scenery, everything very, very natural and vibration incredibly high. And these memories are triggered by things that I've seen in this life, and then all of a sudden they come back. So.
Eli sä käytät niitä muistoja sieltä Atlantikselta tässä nykyisessä työssä?
Yes. I find that with our ascension process, a lot of the memories that we're given back usually mean something. They are part of what we're supposed to be doing. So we're not given useless memories. They're memories that have a significance for the work that we're doing now, or something that we need to clear. It's kind of, we're given stuff on a need to know basis. So, does that make sense?
Ja mä oon itse asiassa huomannut, että aika monilla ihmisillä on noussut tämmöisiä käsittämättömiä pelkoja. Eli onko ne sitten peräisin Atlantikselta?
I think a lot of the cellular DNA that we, all the memories, the cellular memories that are ingrained in our DNA from the fall of Atlantis are very prominent at the moment, because this is all up for release. As we're not supposed to be taking fear as part, or incorporating fear as part of our life. So when we're shown, when this stuff comes up, yes, it is up for release basically. It's something that needs addressing.
Atlantiksesta puhutaan nyt joka paikassa tosi paljon. Mitä varten se nyt on niin pinnalla?
Our entire ascension is using a blueprint that we created for ourselves in the period of time known as Golden Atlantis. So if you forget about the end, the bit where it kind of went wrong, and go back 5,000 years or so, you've got an era called the Golden Era, which is when we set our blueprints for the ascension process now, which is why it's so important.
Minkälaista se oli se elämä sillä Atlantiksella, kun sitä ihannoidaan ja tavallaan niin kuin tavoitellaan sitä atlantislaista elämäntyyliä nyt koko ajan, niin miten ne siellä sitten eli?
The amazing thing about the lifestyle that the Atlanteans incorporated was the fact that everything operated as a community. So everyone supported each other, the animals were looked after, the land was looked after, everything was treated with respect, with love, with reverence, and essentially that is what this planet is aiming for. This is the blueprint. That this is the life that we need to be living on this planet once again. So it's almost like we're taking this lifestyle, this way of life, and it will be re-emerging again over the next 10, 15, 20 years or so.
Miten sitä atlantislaista elämäntyyliä pystyy tuomaan omaan elämäänsä?
By living with your heart rather than your head. This whole ascension process is bringing people to the point where their ego is beginning to dissolve. They're starting to live from their hearts instead. And when you start living from your heart, then automatically the things that became important to you previously, the third dimensional aspects of life, like, you know, being too money orientated, being just living in separation from other human beings, that begins to disappear and it is replaced with a community bond, a community mindedness. Do you see where I'm coming from there? The whole thing is going to evolve and change. It's not going to happen overnight, because this is like, you know, you've got a whole planet that has been set up a certain way and it has got to change. So.
Okei, no mennään vielä enemmän perusasioihin. Onko jotain semmoista tiettyä harjoitusta tai ajatusta tai voimalausetta tai jotain, millä pystyy palauttamaan itsensä sinne sydänkeskukseen tosi helposti ja vaivattomasti?
I find that every single answer that you're looking for on this pathway is found in the heart center. So if you're questioning anything that's going on in your life, if there's anything that's occurring which you want answers for, don't look outside of yourself. You take the question into your heart center. That's the fastest way to get your answer. It takes a bit of practice because you've got to trust yourself. First part of this equation is trusting yourself, your guidance, your answers. Now, all spiritual people are tested on their discernment. So if you're looking for answers outside constantly, eventually you will be given choices that you'll make that will make you kind of move away from it and turn yourself inwards. And this has happened to many, many people that I've encountered. Because they were looking for validation, because they were looking for answers constantly from exterior sources. Eventually they were forced to actually rely upon themselves. And sometimes that test can be quite difficult.
Monet ihmiset on myös hyvin huolissaan perheenjäsenistään ja vaikka lapsistaan tai aviopuolisostaan, kun tuntuu, että ne ei ole nyt millään tavalla henkisellä tiellä, vaikka itse on. Niin onko jotain, miten voi auttaa heitä?
This is something that I've seen occurring with increasing regularity since the start of this ascension process. There will always be one person in a setup, in a family, in a group, who's the light bearer, and they've got the highest vibration, they know the stuff, and they get increasingly worried about all of their sleepy family members. And it's something which requires patience. You've got to kind of trust in the fact that our light is leading the way. You can't tell somebody to wake up. They've got to wake up on their own accord. So it kind of requires patience. You know, this is why we are leading by example. Okay, you can only lead by example. You can only set an example by the way that you live yourself. And if people choose to follow it, brilliant. But you can't force it. You can't force this energy at the moment.
Nyt on viime aikoina alettu puhua myös siitä, että itse asiassa tämä meidän suunnitelma sitä uutta kultaista aikaa varten niin luotiin jo aikoja sitten. Ja meillä on jokaisella oma henkilökohtainen suunnitelma. Niin missä vaiheessa me aletaan noudattaa sitä ja mihin se meitä vie?
This activates the second we start using our 12 ascension chakras. So when you have raised your vibration to the level where you are beginning to work with your ascension chakras, and it's worth noting that just about everybody on the spiritual pathway, no matter what they're doing, is already using their 12 chakras. Everybody on this planet has got a 12 chakra system now because the vibration is raised to a certain level. So the people that are working on making this planet a better place to live, they are working with a blueprint that they set for themselves a long time ago. This Atlantean blueprint, or plan. Atlantean plan, we'll call it the Atlantean plan.
Eli me laitettiin se meille itselle joskus aikoja sitten.
That is how it worked. We knew we were going to be going through this process. We knew the challenges that we were going to face, and we knew that we would only be able to retrieve this information when our vibration was at a level where we weren't going to misuse this very kind of advanced spirituality or spiritual technology once we had it back in our hands again, because obviously we put it away for a very good reason, because it was being misused in the first place. So once we've got this back again, the whole planet is going to turn into a very different place to live, because we're going to have access to all of this knowledge, all of this technology, and it's going to completely change how everybody relates to each other, the way we relate to the planet, how the planet is set up, how we treat ourselves medically. On every single level, things will change. So it's got to be the right time, basically.
Yksi asia, mitä on viime aikoina ruvettu puhumaan ja mikä ainakin mulle itselle on ollut sekä huojentava että myös hyvin hämmästyttävä juttu, niin on se, että itse asiassa myös Atlantiksen tuhoutuminen oli suunniteltu, ja se on musta jotenkin tosi outoa ja kääntää ajatukset vähän eri suuntaan.
For a long time ago, well, it's been planned since the Lemurian times. The Lemurians knew that we were going to be doing this now. This is why they worked with the crystals, in order to otherwise, I mean, a crystal is a crystal, but the crystals of this planet have been imbued with a consciousness that is way, way higher than they would be just on a normal structural level. So we're dealing with conscious beings that have been pre-programmed with knowledge. And the Atlanteans added to this, and now we are we are using and carving and working with tools that have got consciousness levels that extend for millennia and millennia. And all of this has been, the whole thing is planned and guided. This is not some random act or something that's just happening to our planet. It's been predetermined for a very long time.
Eli periaatteessa silloin, kun monilla ihmisillä on myös vähän niin kuin itsesoimauksia ja syyllisyyttä, mitä lieneekään siitä, että me ollaan tuhottu Atlantis niin monta kertaa, niin siinä ei ole mitään syytä, koska se on ollut tämmöinen korkeampi suunnitelma koko aika.
It's not. A lot of people have kind of taken this burden of responsibility on for themselves. Nobody alone was responsible for the sinking of Atlantis. It was a decision that was made by the Intergalactic Council to end the physical aspect of the experiment. So when Atlantis sank for the final time, there were people that had obviously worked very hard to try and keep it up and to make sure that the event that occurred wasn't the catastrophe that it was, and of course they failed to do so. When human beings fail to do something, they immediately blame themselves for it. So you've got this burden of guilt that everybody feels on a light worker level, where, it was me, I made it sink, and it's actual fact. The amount of people that I've spoken to that have been told by somebody or another, or in some way or another have managed to take on this guilt for themselves, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a collective responsibility. It's a collective feeling of. I think we all believe that we could have done more. We should have done more. We blame the crystal skulls for not doing more. It was what it was. It was over 10,000 years ago, and the blueprint is up for release, and we won't make the same mistakes again. So that's.
On varmaan jotain harjoituksia tai muuta, millä me voidaan vahvistaa omaa henkistä tietämme ja kulkea sitä paremmin, saada nopeammin maailman uuteen kultaiseen aikaan.
Fastest way to raise your vibration, hold your vibration, and to deal with everything that we have going on around us at the moment is work with your 12 chakra system. This is a method I've been using for myself personally since 2002 or 2003. And it's been the core of every single thing that I've done to raise my vibration quickly and hold it there. Because our 12 chakra system is effectively us. It's what projects our reality out into the world. So everything that's going on within us, our tests, our initiations, our feelings, our emotions, all of this is contained within our chakras, depending on what aspect of our life this shines out. So if you're working with your chakras on a daily basis, you are effectively learning about yourself on a very intimate level. It's a bit like knowing what's underneath the bonnet of your car. You can save yourself a lot of money at the garage. It's personal work, you know. This process starts with us and works outwards. So it's common sense to work with yourself before you can start changing the world, because the world will only change when you've got yourself right in the first place. So that's my theory on it.
Okei, ja koska me ollaan suomalaisia, niin me tietysti halutaan tietää, mitä Tim ajattelee Suomesta.
What do I think about Finland? I love the place. I absolutely love it. It feels clean, it feels pure to me. I love coming here. It's almost like my soul goes, I especially love it when it's cold. It's because in England we have very, very rarely have decent winters. So when I first came to Helsinki in February, I got off the plane and was like, oh my God, it's snowing. Wow, it's actually cold. So it's I love the country. I love the people. I love the way everybody relates to each other. And just generally the vibration, and so sometimes it's difficult to explain vibration in physical words, but I'm very drawn to it here. So I assume that is also a past life kind of draw, that I have spent time in this region previously. I will be spending as much time as I can here, providing on how many times people invite me out there.
Okei, kiitos Tim, se oli tosi ihanaa. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ulla. Thank you, everybody.